He began life as an inventor of scented candles, but was rejected by the scented candle community for the invention of the now infamous ham candle. Now, he's a guy on the radio, live from Hollywood. It's the Craig Ferguson Show.
Yeah, that's right. I invented the ham candle. Did you know that? I invented the ham candle.
Now, are you proud of it, or are you a little embarrassed?
No, I'm very proud of it. It was an experiment. It was before I became a vegan.
Oh, sure.
Before I became a vegan. I'm a vegan now.
Before that, you were just putting ham wherever you could.
Yeah,
candles, anything.
Yeah, but now I'm working on the Brussels sprouts candle.
Oh, interesting.
The Brussels sprouts candle.
Is that something people want?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. It's the double bluff. You like, if you've got bad gas and you light the Brussels sprouts candle, people are like, oh, it smells like, oh, it's a Brussels sprouts candle.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea, because it wasn't me. It must be my candle. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'll blow it out.
About that. Yeah, sorry. I've run out of ham. You could say I've run out of ham candles. Listen, hi. If you're just joining us, a good day to you.
Sure.
There's some very big news today for us. We are the number 2 show on the radio in the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. Number 2.
Number 2.
We'd be number 1, but I'm afraid of Howard. But
yes,
number 2.
Sure.
Number 2. Now, we don't know if that's actually true.
Right.
Because Sirius don't put out any ratings. They don't have any ratings.
So we also don't know that it's not true.
Correct. So is it fake news? No, it is not fake news. It is ambiguity.
Ambiguity news.
Yeah, it's ambiguity news. So that's very exciting for us. We've decided we're number 2, and a lot of cards and letters and well wishes coming in.
So nice.
From all over the
gift cards,
show business community. Scented candles coming in. We've got a couple of hams, a couple of Brussels sprouts.
Sure.
Some stinky cheese.
Yep, all the good stuff.
Yep. Now, if you're thinking, wait, Craig, your voice sounds very baritone today.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Well, here's why. We put in, you know, Shadow Stevens, who does our announcements.
Yes.
He began live.
Radio legend.
Radio legend. He's the guy he actually invented the radio.
Oh, that's why he's radio legend.
Yes, Shadow Stevens and Marconi.
Oh.
Marconi invented the actual wires.
Sure.
But Shadow invented the dials. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, so Shadow Stevens, formerly of the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson,
sure.
He did the announcements on that. America's Top 40, he did that for years.
Yes.
Now, the America's Top 40.
Yeah.
And also the Center Square in Hollywood Squares for a number of years.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one you want.
Yeah, that's the best square.
Who remembers anybody else?
I don't remember any of the squares.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Really? Where was his position?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Wasn't centered. Maybe like the upper middle.
I think he got center a couple of times.
Oh, that's nice. They should share.
Yeah, well, it was the big thing to get back then. Back then, in the 1970s, Center Square at in Hollywood Squares
sure.
was the equivalent to a Golden Globe.
Wow.
It's in fact better. In fact, even now it's better than a Golden Globe.
Really?
I'm only saying that because they haven't given me one. Not yet. But I think now this radio show is so huge that I think that it can only be days away.
Yeah, you'll definitely get a Golden Globe, and maybe if they bring back Hollywood Squares, you could even get a square.
I wouldn't do it.
No.
Wouldn't do it. You know
really?
why?
Why?
I'm not their bitch.
That's good. Well, I'd be their bitch if I could get a square. Maybe.
Well, no, you don't want to do that. But I'm very excited anyway because the show is off the charts.
Whoa, that's good. Good for you.
Off the charts.
You've been hanging around with young people.
That's right. Off the charts.
That's nice.
Millennials. It's off the charts with the demographics.
Okay, I think now we might be losing them.
Why?
With the demographics?
Yeah, the demographics. They're off the charts. That's what you say.
So really?
Off the charts with the demographics.
Cool. Yeah,
we're really
cool.
excited. And you know who's on the show today?
This is actually really
That's properly exciting.
Yeah.
Stephen Fry is on the show today. Stephen Fry, who's a gentleman that I've known and admired for many, many years.
Talented on so many levels.
Controversial for many Americans, I imagine, because we're big with the truckers. We're number 1 show with the truckers, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the truckers are God-fearing folks.
Yes.
Now, Stephen's an atheist.
Well, but I'm sure he'll present it in a way that seems nice.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing. We have decided, the reason this show has become so popular is because what has happened in American discourse
Sure.
is that nobody can sit in a room with somebody who doesn't agree with them.
Right.
And that's not the way life is.
No.
That's not the way life is. How the hell do you get through Thanksgiving dinner if you can't be in a room with people who think fundamentally different from you?
Yeah,
the whole idea of a free society
Sure.
is that you can think different things and not tear each other to pieces over that.
That's beautiful.
Well, I hope so. But I imagine the phone lines are already lit up with angry people who are angry. Let's be honest, many of these people were angry before we really go on the air.
Yeah, some people are just angry and they want to just, talk about it.
I think that sometimes when I'm doing the stand-up comedy.
Oh, really? Like the fans are like angry?
No. The fans aren't angry.
Oh.
But every now and again, particularly at the beginning when people don't know who you are. Right? Nowadays, I'm in a very lucky position.
Sure.
If I go there, they go, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, because they probably...
It's the guy that was on The Nanny.
Well, all right, so they know you're somebody, but they don't know who you are.
They're not quite sure who it is.
Yeah.
You know, a guy came up to me the other day. I am not, without a word of a lie, this happened to me last weekend. He came over and said, hey, what is Hotel California really about? And I'm like, what? He said, is it a metaphor for not being able to get out of Los Angeles? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. And he went, thanks, man, I really love your work. And it was only just a couple of minutes later I realized that he thought I was in the Eagles in
No
some
way.
Yeah.
I wonder which Eagle.
Well, I don't know. Joe Walsh is here next week.
Yeah.
So we'll ask Joe if I remind him of any of his band members.
I feel like I know what they vaguely look like, and you don't look like an Eagle to me.
I don't look like anybody in the Eagles.
Yeah.
But maybe some scrupulous kid said, hey, Grandpa, see that old guy over there?
He's in the Eagles.
He's in the Eagles. And he came over and he thanked me for my work. And the only thing I can do is think, well, Joe Walsh is here next week. I'll just pass it on. Just pass it on.
Yeah, let him know that someone is thankful for
right.
their work.
I don't know if Joe wrote Hotel California. I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't know if that was him
No.
either.
But Joe did write the song I Like Big Tits. Did you know that?
Well,
Which
told
is
me
also
that.
a metaphor
Sure.
for not being able to get out of Los Angeles.
Wow. If someone had come up and said, thank you for writing that song, you would have taken credit for it,
Well,
right?
the truth of the matter is, I couldn't be 100% sure that in my life I haven't written a song at some point with the title I Like Big Tits. I've certainly thought that title.
Yeah.
I've never thought the title Hotel California. I've never been driving around LA thinking, Hotel California.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah, that wouldn't just come up.
It wouldn't just come up.
Yeah.
But if, I have driven around LA and occasionally thought, I like big tits.
But what Joe Walsh thought was, I'm going to turn that thought into a song.
Right, and I didn't do that. And that's one of the many differences between me and Joe Walsh, is Joe is an immensely talented man, and I'm some douche claiming, maybe truthfully, to have the number 2 radio show on Earth.
Wow. Well,
So right there, I think that's fine. Now listen, I had a very big weekend. I don't know if you've got... Do you understand what I say when I say the Netflix?
Yeah.
I have the Netflix.
You have a subscription to Netflix streaming service.
That's the thing. I have the Netflix. And what you can do with it, I don't know if you're familiar with it, it's what it is that you go on and they have a whole host of different... You don't have to wait on your TV show coming on. Like in the old days, you'd wait and go, well, what time is it on at? Well, in Netflix, it's on now. It's on now.
Yeah, it's amazing. I am familiar, but I appreciate...
Well, you're only young. You're what, 30?
Yeah.
Right, so, 30?
Yeah, 32.
32. See, you're already shaving a couple of years off.
For the listeners, if they thought I was 30, would that be so bad?
Well, this is the number 2 radio show in the world, and we didn't get that way by telling lies.
No, that's
right.
Totally
We didn't become 40 million people tuning into this show every day. Don't tune in
to a bunch of liars.
No, that's the end of the sentence. They don't tune in.
Yeah.
No, 40 million people don't tune into this show every day.
Sure.
And we don't tell lies. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to phrase it correctly. You're 32.
Oh, okay.
32. Okay, anyway, that's not the point. The Netflix. I've got the Netflix, and what I've been doing is I've been watching a show called The Great British Baking Show.
Never heard of it.
This is the greatest show ever on television.
Okay.
It's got the same music as the Teletubbies, right? So it's got the...
Is it really the same?
Yeah, almost the same. It's definitely the same instrument, whatever that instrument is. The
instrument appears to be the mouth. From
right, okay. And what they do is they get a bunch of very good bakers, amateur bakers together, and they have a bake-off. They have a bake-off competition over, and one's eliminated. It's like American Idol, except it's baking, and it's sensational.
But you don't get to taste it.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's really about the passion and skill and talent of the people involved. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm not lying to you. I didn't get 40 million viewers.
By lying.
No, I just didn't get 40 million viewers.
See, I keep falling for it.
I didn't get 40 million viewers by giving you a bum steer.
Sure.
That's what you say, by the way.
A bum steer.
A bum steer. It's a phrase I picked up in Texas. What it means is if you have a sick young cow,
Okay.
it's called a bum steer.
Oh, that sounds sad.
I made it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it could be happy. Uh-oh, Tomas is in. What's going on? Stephen is here already.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
very excited about that.
That's when you know someone's good is when they're willing to show up a little early.
One of the single most important things about show business
Yeah.
is In fact, the most important thing about show business is punctuality.
Well, people might not think you're telling the truth, but you absolutely are. Because whenever I meet you anywhere, I know if I'm not 15 minutes early, I'm late.
That's I'm telling you.
You told me that's the rule.
I didn't get 40 million viewers on this show.
But
See.
you're really good at that. though.
Yeah, no, I am. Because that's why I have 40 million viewers. See?
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
Just let it
look, I've
sit
been
there.
watching the Great British Bake Off, and I'm wondering if Stephen is outside, if he has seen the Great British Bake Off. Oh, yeah, he can hear
Wow.
it. Stephen, come in. Why wait?
Yeah, if you got Steven here,
If
you
you're
don't
here,
wait.
come in. Great to see you. You look sensational.
Thank you.
Well, but this is Joe.
Hey,
here.
nice to meet you.
Please take a headset. Sit down. Steven's here. He looks very nice. He's wearing a sort of a... What colour is that? A sort of
A
maroon...
green slip over Viridian. I
Yeah,
like
it's a...
Viridian green.
they call-
Shields green, perhaps.
They call him a sweater vest in America.
Do they?
They call him a sweater.
Bless them. They do all kinds of things that are equivalent to English things, and one of the things they do, and I'm surprised you don't know it, is the Great American Baking Show, which
Well,
is a sort of blow-by-blow attempt to reproduce the fanatical and extraordinary success of the Great British Bake Off, and it doesn't.
It doesn't. No, and
And
the
I'd love
same-
to discuss why that might be.
Well, I can give you another example as well. Top Gear.
Yeah.
Top Gear America. It's not bad,
Well,
but it's
it
not.
doesn't have the... And those are very different shows, because one is all about very laddish banter, going quite near the edge, and all you know, the famous things that Jeremy Clarkson, for whom I'm often mistaken, incidentally, in the street in America.
Really?
Well, I look like a halfway house between Jeremy Clarkson and James May, the other one.
Oh,
And so people see me, and they may have seen me on something. They know they can tell I'm British.
Yes.
And so they just make a sort of slip, a kind of ellipsis, as it were, a social ellipsis. And they say, what did you think of the Subaru 17 or whatever? And I'll go, I'm sorry, I know who you think I am, but no, you are. I know you are.
Do you know anything about the Subaru?
No.
There's no point in rushing right past it. So my headphones are very loud. Could you zoom down a little bit?
No, it's you. You're that.
Oh, no, I'm
yeah.
sorry. It's the new foam panels and the...
Before we lose our thread, so there's that side of British reality television,
Right.
featured entertainment, non-fiction, whatever you
Right.
call it. And then there's the very opposite world of the Bake Off, the refined tea shop world.
Fantastic.
So they're very different sides of the British character. One is the loutish side, and
Right.
the other is the refined side.
But I think there's very sort of bad behaviour in the Bake Off as well. There was one, I remember one particular episode, well, I don't think it's in the season I'm watching now, I think it was in season 3, where an old lady took someone's ice cream out of the refrigerator and allowed it to melt. And yeah, it was called Fridgegate
It was.
in Britain.
Immediately had a gate put after
Yeah,
it.
you put gate after everything, and I'm sure we'll get to that. But it was a huge scandal, and she had to resign due to pressure.
Because of melted ice cream?
Yeah, well, these stakes are high.
When the BBC lost the format rights for the show, which belonged to an
Also
independent
with Top
company,
Gear.
As they lost Top Gear, and they lost Top Gear because they fired Jeremy Clarkson,
Right.
and then everyone else left, Andy Willman, the producer, and so on. With Bake Off, the company that owned it just basically put it out to tender as the contract was coming, and another station put up a higher bid, and the BBC wasn't prepared to match it. But it was on the news for weeks. It
It's a
was the
huge
headline news. The queen of it is this marvellous octogenarian called Mary Berry.
She's
who's
lovely.
a wonderful figure.
I imagine she's probably friends with Her Majesty the Queen.
Oh, you would think.
Or-
the Queen wishes.
Or maybe not. You see, here's the thing. I have this theory. Cats gay men and perhaps octogenarian ladies. You think they're going to get along, but they don't always.
That's a very good point.
They don't always.
Wow, that's interesting.
No, you can say, oh, I've got it's particularly, not so much with heterosexual couples, but with gay couples, you say, oh, I've got somebody who'd be great for you, and you get, wow, and it's really not.
Yeah, it's claws her eyes.
Yeah. It's kind of, well, Joe.
What? Well, Joe,
Are you
what?
octogenarian?
No.
Joe's not gay, but I thought that I might kind of like
No, you could
go
start the
down
rumor.
that street.
I'm not, but yeah, but I feel isn't that what we're like with all people, right?
Heterosexual, I suppose.
You know, you meet
it's the same
someone.
way.
Someone's like, you're gonna love this person. You meet them, and you're like,
It's
whoa.
nearly always. It's the same with films. If you're going to love
Right,
this
yeah,
film,
if-
you end up not loving it.
That's
La La Land. Sorry.
Oh,
Don't get me started.
no, I know. You look very well, Stephen.
Well, do you know, since I moved here about a year ago,
Yes.
and I lived in the hills, not very near where this lovely studio is, just up,
Right.
you know, and so there's Lake Hollywood for a morning walk.
Oh,
and
right.
and it's just
You get an exercise in the
it's
sunshine.
easier to get exercise.
It is.
And it's not really, despite people's idea of Hollywood, it's not much of a party town, LA.
Not at all.
And I'm glad at my age that it isn't.
No, it's not.
People
and
go
also,
to bed early and all the rest of it.
congratulations in their order, I
I'm a
believe.
married man, yes.
Stephen got married.
Oh, that's
So I
great.
think it-
Congratulations.
I've never met your husband.
No, you haven't.
I'd
we were
quite
going
like
to come
to.
to your party, which we
Yes,
couldn't
and
do
then
at
you couldn't
Christmas,
come
yeah,
because you were
sorry about
working.
that, yeah.
It's terrible business. That's LA though. It's very. I think LA is a sort of very Protestant town.
Yes.
Everybody go to bed because there's work tomorrow.
Absolutely. And while some people find that disappointing, I must say for Britain, I don't know if you agree, I just love the fact that when you email people, they answer you.
Yeah.
And admittedly, very short emails,
Right,
Americans write, and they return your calls. And people work properly here. In Britain, I have this saying that you never want to arrange a meeting with a Briton on a Wednesday, because that way you screw up both his weekends. and you know, we're just so lazy. I don't know, Jay, you're probably a very hard worker.
No, Joe's pretty
Joe?
lazy.
No,
Yeah.
I feel like that. I grew up.
You're a
out
musician.
there. Yeah, I do play some music.
He was also do you remember on the late night show the pantomime horse?
Oh, yes.
Joe was the front end of the
Goodness.
horse.
My
Thank
goodness.
And that's why we stayed together, because the back end of the horse was horribly lazy, but the front end was like really throwing down most nights. And you know, you were just pulling that Ryan around, really.
Yeah, it could have been on wheels.
Yeah, it could have been.
Actually, when you guys did the show with just the two of you,
Yes.
Yes.
they weren't sure what to do with us. So you did a whole hour. For the entire interview, we were standing behind the curtain, and they were like, we don't know what to do, so just be there just in case. And that was a really great show. It was like really highly regarded. But I was just backstage listening, like watching on a tiny monitor, just in case you called for us at any moment.
I do like the idea of us having a conversation that at some point I can call on a pantomime horse
Yes, it's
to distract you. We don't have that luxury here.
No sharks to jump here. No panthers.
I'm right here. I'm right. It's just
Yeah.
this is my house.
It's naked radio.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is where you live, isn't
Well,
it?
I don't. Yes, why
One
not?
of your
It's one of
domiciles.
my. I have about 15 houses dotted across LA where I go to bed early every night in.
Yes.
I think though one of the reasons I came here just after I got sober, and I think one of the reasons that it kind of worked out for me is because it's a great town for people who really are trying to stay out of bars and clubs and
Yes.
that kind of life.
It was a very good joke in Robert Altman's The Player. Do you remember?
I do. I love that film.
Tompkins, I should say, who wrote it because it's his line. But it was there where Tim Robbins is on his way to an AA meeting in the car, and it's a sort of wide shot, and you just hear over as he's driving. And the person on the other end of the car phone says, I didn't know you were in AA. You're an alcoholic? He said, no, but that's where you get to make all the good meetings. Everybody's there.
It kind of is. Luckily, I managed to squeeze in as you well know, with legitimate symptoms.
Yes, indeed. You were the real thing.
So I feel less bothered about that. Let's see. I haven't seen you for a long time. What's happened? You got married.
Yes.
Which is very exciting. Carrie died, for God's
Yes,
sake.
that was
Oh
the
my
great
God.
blow of last year. She was, as you know, a very dear friend and a remarkably important person in my life.
Carrie
Not just
Fisher we're
because
talking
of
about,
her,
of course, yeah.
not just because of her qualities of friendship and everything, but because she kind of led the way in terms of the openness about mental illness and so on. I interviewed her for a film I made about mental illness I can't remember when that was, gosh, no, 2005, 6, 7, 8, something like that.
Right.
I lose all sense of time. And she was just magnificent in that.
I know.
And she had a strength and a wit and a style about her that is very rarely found together in one person, and she's deeply missed.
I know. You know what she did for me? I'll tell you this. It's because I became very friendly with her over time when I was here, and what happened was I wrote a novel before I got the late night show, and it's quite difficult to get a novel made if you're just eighth banana on a sitcom. I've written a novel, and she read it and she said, "Let's have a party where we'll for your book." And she had a party for my book, and all these fancy people came, and the book went on to be the number 2 book in the United States. It actually, I think, no, that was another one. It became, it was the number 4 on the New York Times bestseller list, but it was only number 3 because it was beaten by Mackenzie Phillips, whose memoir about having sex with her dad came out the same week.
That's always going to win. That's unfair.
And Ted Kennedy, who died in his autobiography. So Ted Kennedy and Mackenzie Phillips, and then me. But that's still not
Kennedy drove you off the bridge.
Well, what I wanted to say at the book launch in New York, and my publicist talked me out of it, was in my book, Mackenzie Phillips fucks Ted Kennedy. but no one thought that was a good idea, and so I've never said it ever.
But that is very typical of Gary. Because everyone remembers her as this very sort of spunky, sparky, sharp, witty, sassy, wonderful comebacks and one-liners. They probably don't know how extraordinarily kind she was. There was a period when our house in Coldwater Canyon, I'm sure you visited
many
it.
times, yeah.
It was like a refuge. They were washed up on the beach of it, where these junkies, people dying in those days of AIDS as they were, all people are just getting over divorces and all kinds of messes in their lives, and there was a sort of annex in which people were staying. Some people were sleeping in the tennis court because there was no room, but there were so many. It was like a commune. And
it's a very magical place.
Yes.
Well, she was a very magical person. The house is the house, but it felt like that. It was all. There was some poor chap died in her bed. I remember
that was a very extraordinary business.
And I remember she had a birthday party for me there, and Courtney Love was chasing me around.
That's where I met Courtney Love and was courted by Courtney Love for a while.
Me too.
She loves British comedians.
Now, did she try to have sex with you? Because
even though I explained the disposition of my chromosomes and genes was otherwise organised, but no, I still like her very much. Actually,
yes, I thought she was lovely, but I was there with my wife.
Yes,
I was like,
but yeah, she's sort of furrowed through like a stately plough, Steve Coogan, Russell Brand, and many British comedians.
That's true, actually. She did like I felt special, but now not so much. Now not so much. You've been very open about mental illness, which I think is for a British. I don't really want to call you an actor, and I don't know what to call you. A British chap. Yeah. For British people to talk about mental illness and distress mentally is a new idea. I mean, I even in getting sober, as an alcoholic getting sober, it's still going to
It also requires a journey through emotional layers and membranes that are usually closed, doesn't it?
I
mean, that's the nature of the 12 steps, as I understand it.
Yes.
You do have to face all kinds of personal and interior things as well as.
Well, it was constructed. I believe the idea behind it was Carl Jung, way back, was treating a gentleman called Roland Hazard, and who was from a very big swanky family in New York.
The Dukes of Hazzard.
Right, the Dukes of Hazzard. He was from the Dukes of Hazzard. And Carl Jung said, to Roland Hazard, I can't do anything for you. Drunks are just so disappointing. I can't seem to help. And he said, is there nothing? And he said, well, every now and again, a drunk has a profound spiritual experience which seems to so alter the psyche that sets them on, St. Paul on the road to Damascus.
An epiphany. Exactly.
Right, Ignatius of Loyola, one of the, somebody who just suddenly, boom, has a vault fast, usually through some form of religion.
Yes, a revelation.
And what they tried to do, I believe Bill Wilson and the architects of those particular, they took from the Oxford group which was a religious group at the
Yes.
time, which got into a bit of trouble with the Nazis later, I think. But they
were Anglo-Catholic.
Right.
Yes, movement.
They had 6 steps to improve yourself, and I think I believe what happened is Bill Wilson chopped them up into 12.
Right.
And it was about to artificially change the psyche instead of everybody waiting for a religious experience, which is kind of it's a long shot for most of us. To actually go through a process that would produce the same results.
And
that's the thinking. I think.
And one of the great Anglo-Catholic and Catholic words, I suppose, is obedience, which is not just doing as you're told, but submitting yourself to something. And obviously, if you've been a slave to something, which is the worst kind of obedience, obeisance, it's the slavery, is servility, then to replace it with a kind of obedience where you can keep your self-respect is a step that makes sense.
It is. It's a very interesting thing. It ignites a lot of controversy, though, because when I got sober, a lot of the people I get sober around were atheists.
Yes.
Shipyard workers, communists, and who were, so they went through the same process.
And that's the one thing they find the barrier that stops them making the
not so much, really, because what I think the idea is to believe in something bigger than yourself. That's the only requirement.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, a deity which, it looks a certain way or has a certain skin tone
name or
beard
history
or anything like that. It just something bigger than you will be sufficient.
Yes. Yeah.
That, I think, is the idea to change the perspective.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? Is that when you're young, especially people who are comedians, I think one of the things that sets you out on the comic path is an extraordinarily sensitive antenna to what one considers to be bullshit and pretentiousness.
Right.
And we can't bear it. You know how teenagers absolutely loathe what they think might be pretentious.
Yes.
And we were like that. We saw it. Our antenna quivered at the smallest sort of behavioural act of someone who looked as if they were trying to show off. We were there. We were on it. And also when it came to talking about anything particularly emotional or psychotherapeutic or in that world, we used to look up, obviously, at the great hero in my life of comedy was John Cleese. And the fact that he dedicated the latter part of his life to chasing all kinds of psychotherapy, demons and angels, struck us as a kind of betrayal almost of what it was to be a comedian. And now you think, why was I so upset about the idea of somebody else wanting to have an emotionally happy life? When
I find that more and more, though, as I get older. I think, what was I so angry about? I genuinely can't think what it was.
Strange.
I remember being.
That was your whole thing, was what you hated.
Yeah, everything.
That was your Bing Hitler phase.
It was like,
do you hate? I hate this.
I hate that. I think that one of my bestie friends in Britain now is a gentleman who grew up in utter aristocracy. Grew up in a castle, family goes back 1,000 years. And he's just a great chum. He's a really good pal. And if I had met him when I was 20, I would have hated him. And I don't know. I don't think he would have hated me, but I think
bloody hell. No, really nice guy, actually.
He was absolutely fine.
Seriously, lovely bloke.
Yes, great. We have to take a break, apparently.
Oh,
good Lord, already. All right, we'll take a break. We have to take a break because we're the number 2 radio show in the world.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back with Stephen Fry.
There'll be more of Craig Ferguson on Sirius XM. Right after this. It's the Craig Ferguson Show on Sirius XM. Comedy Greats.
Yeah, that sounded a bit...
I like that.
Really? I don't know. I think the...
Because you're young and hip and
No, but
scratching
I'm
is the
not.
latest thing that's only 40 years old.
The scratching I'm doing now is the scratching in my underwear. So I'd scratch over to the bathroom grumbling about young people. We should, if you want to talk to us, Stephen Fry is here today, and you can call us at 1-800-mattress?
No, it's 1-8445-GREATS.
844-5-GREATS or 1-844-547-3287. Or you could try 1-800-MATTRESS.
They can ask for us.
1-800-lawyers if you want. Jacoby and Meyer, was it? Used to be them.
I got 1-800-DENTIST when I came here.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. Hey, let me tell you, by the way, have you gone the way of the American teeth yet? Because you will.
No, I won't.
You will?
No, there are certain things that, and here we come down to a sort of what a philosopher would call an ontology, almost, is it? And the essence of things, what they are.
Right.
And I love America. I'm passionate about America. I have a green card. Who knows? One day I may even be a citizen. But
right.
so don't take this amiss, America, if you're listening. Miss America. I just said Miss America.
Miss America is listening.
Don't take this amiss, America, if you are listening. But there's an element in which you don't seem to like things being what they should be. Teeth is an example. I hear people say, "Do you want your teeth white?" And I say, "No, I want them tooth-coloured."
Right.
And teeth are never white. White is put a piece of paper next to a tooth. That one's white, one's tooth-coloured. They should be a creamy, yellowy colour, not white. And I've seen people with modernised, adjusted teeth that are white, and they look preposterous. The President of the United States has such a pair, for example, and his is by no means the worst, and it's by no means the worst quality that he has. But he does have just teeth that are a joke. They're just ridiculous. They're not teeth. In the same way, you go into a well-known coffee shop in America,
right,
and you ask for a latte, and the first question you get back is, "What flavour do you want?"
Right.
To which there is only one answer. It's coffee flavour.
Coffee flavour, yes.
But they are assuming you want something they call French vanilla, which has seen neither the interior of a vanilla bean nor France. It's just a fake taste called vanillin, made by International Flavors and Fragrances in New Jersey.
It's like my candle business. It's like my scented candle business. No, not at all. But I quite enjoy that.
You like things not tasting?
Tasting. No, the tasting thing is different. But teeth.
America has two wonderful qualities, and one is its childlike quality. The openness, the sense of fun and playfulness of the American, the sweetness of nature. But then being childlike can become being childish, like the child emperor of the White House, where childishness is, and so not liking the taste of coffee and preferring to sweeten it with strange coffee mate things which are flavoured with raspberry and nutmeg or whatever it is, of cinnamon. I mean, what the heck is going on with the American obsession with cinnamon, which is
I must admit,
real cinnamon?
That's the one thing. I mean, my house, I am the only American in my house who wasn't born in America. And I'm the only American in my house that can't stand the taste of cinnamon. I don't like this. Joe, you were born in America. You like cinnamon?
I do like cinnamon.
If you take an actual cinnamon stick and flavour something with cinnamon, yes. But the chewing gum that's called cinnamon, that's red hot.
Like burns your mouth.
Yeah. What's that?
They're red hots. I don't care for them. Although we get a lot of truckers listening to this show
who like it. I'm sure
you're going to get fire.
I'm
for
prepared to be told that I'm wrong. But I do think Americans probably don't really like adult flavours. Alcohol, for example, is better for them if it's covered in sugar and made into a cocktail of some kind. And
I believe Scotch is fairly popular.
Yeah, no, I'm
Although
exaggerating.
American bourbon is sweeter. It definitely is.
Yes, caramelly, isn't it?
Yes,
Maker's Mark and
yeah.
things. We mustn't talk about it to get you excited. No, it's been long enough.
I'm not allowed to talk about it now. I think.
No. This isn't a criticism. I mean, I think it is part of that. Of the fact that you can. You see, in Europe, we're guilty about things. So, an olive, when you first taste an olive as a child, it's disgusting.
They're awful,
and you have to learn to like it.
Yeah, and then they get better.
Yes. But in America, they just think, I'm not going to taste that. It's disgusting. And I'm going to cover it in honey. Or
is that correct, Joe? Do you think that's a fair description? You're representing native-born Americans here.
I mean, that was a weird example because specifically, I do hate the taste of olives. I won't eat olives. I don't like the taste.
Well, that'll change though over time as your taste buds deteriorate.
You don't feel that as an adult, it's your duty to like olives because they're clearly a sophisticated, proper taste.
So I can get into the green olives a little bit, but black olives I'm still out. But the more sophisticated are the green ones, right?
Yes, I think that's right. So you're okay.
I'm working towards it. So
I don't know about this. I mean, I feel we've wandered into a very, very dubious area. Look, what about oysters? A lot of people like oysters.
Yeah, that's true, and Americans like oysters.
Americans like oysters, and I hate oysters. I hate them. I cannot. I tried an oyster once, and I did it because Steve Carell tricked me into it, and it was. It's like inhaling phlegm. It's like being Welsh without any of the sexiness.
Do you know the story of the Spartacus and the oysters and the snails.
Yes, but
sure
do tell, because
Do
Joe
you know
does.
the-
yeah.
You know the
okay.
Stanley Kubrick masterpiece, epic,
Sure.
with Kirk Douglas, Spartacus, the
Yeah.
freeing of the slaves. There's a character in it, a Roman, not a centurion, he's a consul, played by Laurence Olivier, the great British actor. And he is bisexual, and he picks out Tony Curtis to be his body servant. And there's a scene in a bath that was cut from the film, but was put back in when the whatever it was, 70mm version was restored by, with Spielberg and Scorsese paid for it to be put back, as they had with, Lawrence of Arabia. And in it, Tony Curtis is scraping the back in the way the Romans did, when they were in the baths, scraping the back of his master. And Olivier says to him, tell me, do you like snails? No, I don't like snails. I don't like it. Tony Curtis doesn't do a Roman accent, which is fair enough.
It's all right.
No, does Olivier, for that matter. He stays English.
but-
There's nothing more Roman about being English.
But in film language, if you're upper class, you're Roman.
Yeah, that's true.
I say, Caesar, hello. These Germanic tribes are an absolute char.
That's true. Anyway, it says you don't like snails. No, I don't like snails. I don't like. What about oysters? Yeah, oysters I like. I like oysters. But you don't like snails? No. Would you be prepared to try snail? No. You only like oysters. Yeah. And you realize, of course, what they're talking about. They're talking about
Penises and vaginas.
They're talking about penises and vaginas. And it sort of goes on in that way, and then it ends up with Olivia saying, very well, we needn't quarrel about it. But it was cut from the film, and then, as I say, when it was being restored, they got Anthony Hopkins, who's a very good mimic, to be Olivier.
Right, yeah.
And Curtis was still alive, and he played himself, and it's now back in the film.
Wow.
So you're not liking oysters. We're looking at you and saying, are you a member of our tribe, Craig?
Well, no, I certainly think that I've probably vacationed in your tribe's hunting
Snail
ground.
land.
Yes, but no, I think I'm probably it's oysters all the way for me.
Yes.
Oysters all the way to Christmas. All right, let's see who's on the phones. Patrick in Wisconsin disagrees with Stephen about coffee.
I'm sure you're right. I was, letting loose a balloon to see who was going to shoot it
Well,
down.
let's see if Patrick can defend himself. Patrick, what are your feelings about coffee?
Well, first of all, I just want to say hello, Craig. I think you're terrific. I really enjoy listening to you. I've followed you on the show. I spend more time on YouTube watching reruns of your show than some of the more current stuff out there. I just really appreciate having the opportunity to tell you that.
Thank you very much. That's very nice of you.
Tasteful fellow.
Yes, very good. You've buttered me up. All right. Let's hear what you have to say about Stephen and coffee then. Is he wrong?
Well, I just thought that, Stephen was off the cuff a little bit condescending. I mean, the fact that you like choices and we have choices, there are certainly, the more choices you have, the more likely there's going to be a choice that you don't want. But that doesn't, diminish the legitimacy of being able to offer more choices. And
That's a wise and brilliant defense. You're absolutely right.
Are you a lawyer by any chance, Patrick?
I feel well rebutted.
No, and I guess I didn't tell this to your screener, so I hope I'm not going out of line by. I do have a question from the standpoint of atheism.
Yes, I would imagine you wouldn't be human if you didn't. So what is it?
Well, Craig, you made the comment of acknowledging the fact of there being something more, something bigger than yourself.
Yes.
And I agree with that 100%, but what's more important is the founding principle of this country is the notion of a creator as the rights that humans derive their rights from. It doesn't come from government. And it's important that when you have governments that they acknowledge that there's something bigger than that. Otherwise, you get a lot of potential for some of the worst human suffering possible. And that's my concern. I've never heard an atheist reconcile the concept of something bigger than something that's man-made.
Let me introduce you to one who I think can help you with that.
The universe is not man-made. Gravity is not man-made. None of the forces of the universe that motivate us. The sun is not man-made. All these things are bigger than we are, and we can choose to worship them. But they're not. They didn't create the universe, and one's perfectly free to be atheistical and accept higher powers. And the government and Constitution of the United States uses an interesting and unusual word that is almost never used in ordinary speech, and that's inalienable. And there's a whole history about the argument of who put in the phrase under God, because it's not one that really fits with the founding fathers, most of whom were atheists, as we would call them, certainly not in any sense believers in religion. And they came from the tradition of the Enlightenment, which was one which began to raise up the possibility of man having creation as something he could examine, and not under the terms of a text like a Bible or a Quran, but under his own ability to think and reason.
I think there's a very complex argument about this, which begins with semantics. I think a lot of people mistake atheism for anti-theism, which is
quite different.
Which I think is different. I think the first thing that, or one of the things that I'm very keen to establish with this show, which is already the second biggest show in the world, that we introduce an idea that people can hold opposing views and be civilized and talk to each other. The idea, I think, the challenge of political life or human life or society is to be able to disagree with someone, and the challenge of politics is to find a way for us all to rub along without trying to subjugate someone to believe what you believe.
I don't think that's ever been truer, Craig. I think you're quite right. We do need to find that way. And I personally, as someone who happens to be atheist, I'm certainly not anti-theist. I've always been fascinated by religion, particularly certain sects of the Christian religion, Episcopalianism and the liturgy of Catholicism. I find a very interesting subject to study, and I have always been interested in the Bible and in the stories told in it, much as I've always been interested in the Greek mythology and in other stories that tell beautiful tales about the possibilities of man. And I think they're akin to art, and that's all bigger than I am.
Yes, I think that I've never thought for a moment that you were anti-theist.
No.
I think that I'm not a particularly religious person. So much so that I don't think that I could claim to be an atheist, because I can't. It feels like a very definite stance, and I feel like more. The problem that I would have with it is using the word God, and we've touched on this before in discussions. How do you define that? If it's a guy that looks like Santa with a beard on a cloud, then I'm afraid you've lost me. But if it is the idea that there is a force unseen, perhaps like electricity or atomic theory, then I'm drawn more to what you're talking about. But I think the idea of intelligent design. If intelligent design really does exist, then it has to be more intelligent than humans. Therefore, I think us imposing intelligence on it would be a bit like, it just doesn't seem to make any sense to me that you can do that. The Carl Sagan's fantastic description, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but when he's talking about the idea of saying there's no life in the universe because we haven't found any, is a bit like taking a cup of water at the ocean and saying, well, that's it, there's no whales. It's like there's a lot you can't see, and I'm happy, or there's a lot unseen, and I'm not happy, but I feel like I'm more comfortable being cognizant of that.
Also, I think it's absolutely none of my business what other people who are devout and pious and have things that they worship and value. It's not my business to trash them or to make fun of them or so on. And so there are elements within what is called loosely the new atheism, which can, I think, be a little
religious,
a little crass. Well, I don't know if it's exactly religious, but it's a bit, in the same way that the liberal left is not very liberal sometimes. Similarly, the humanist movement, as I would prefer it to be thought of, can be somewhat inhuman occasionally.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think any movement sometimes gets a little bit cross because we are right and other people are wrong. It's difficult. One of the things I think that has caused a lot of the Sturm und Drang in America right now is choosing where you get your information. And I think that that's led to a lot of problems. There's a surfeit of information, but people choose to get the information which reinforces the beliefs they already have. I don't think that's a good idea.
I agree entirely. And talking of things, I'm not trying to hammer home the point, but talking of things that I believed were bigger than me, in the late 80s, I remember I went online, and I was the only person I knew, literally, the only person.
The only person in a chat room for 10 years.
I was the only person I knew who was online. That's to say, I got to know other people who were online all over the world, but none of my friends were.
Right.
But as it slowly built up, and then in the early-ish 90s, Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, and that obviously created a great step change in the use of the various different elements that were the internet before then. And email became more popular, and the first wave of things you joined, AOL. Remember, it was impossible to get a magazine without a CD.
Yeah,
trying to get to remember AOL
yeah.
and Alta Vista and all these other different portals, as they were called. And then they fell away, and it seemed to be a free internet. And then came Facebook and social media. And I remember joining Twitter very early on, and I honestly thought this power of people together was a new force in the world that could only be good, that it was magnificent. That it was the way that we were all going to be interconnected, that we could understand each other, speak to each other, learn from each other. It was going to be the most thrilling thing that humanity had yet come up with.
Do you no longer believe
it's
that?
It's hard now to believe it, partly because of what you said. I should, of course, if I'd had all the wisdom in the world and had been able to think clearly, I should have seen what history teaches us.
But it's very similar to the Protestant movement when they started, printing Bibles.
In 1450, when Gutenberg started, yes,
right.
Exactly.
When you start teaching the peasants how to read and giving them access to the sacred scriptures, then suddenly, there's a whole set of factions heading off in all sorts of different directions. What I'm saying is, I don't think the peasants should have been taught how to read.
Well, it's really not. Unfortunately, it's more the bloody middle classes.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Because yes, it's an interesting thing to compare it with. In 1450, when Gutenberg produced the first, the Bible using moving type. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that was for the Catholic Church, and they were and princes of the church and others were the main customers. He'd printed first indulgences and pardons and a few other sort of documents that the church used. And they had all power over the word until then, for the last 1,000 or 1,500 years almost, with monks in scriptoria writing in manuscripts. And the idea that this power would be taken away from them, they obviously didn't predict. And you might have said in 1450, at last, the word is freed from this one church, and individuals are allowed to make up their mind. And to some extent, that was true.
Well,
the Enlightenment did come from it. But it also, in the same way the internet has, it's divided us up, it's ghettoized us as much as it has united us. We've been balkanized, or whatever word you want to use, tribalized and what you were referring to, the filter bubble, the fact that we only seem to be able to read news that is designed for us and to confirm our biases and our prejudices.
I think it's interesting as well that you have a situation where there's a lot of talk about how awful thing is, but as we discuss, the 1450s and what you're talking about right now, I wonder in human terms, and I'm not talking about individual stories. I know that many people are having a very, very, very hard time, but I wonder in human terms how this era compares with any other in history. Where you have antibiotics, where you have cleanliness.
Yes,
when
child mortality is at an all-time low.
Right, boiled water, where you have,
longevity simply.
Right.
Yeah.
So in larger terms, I mean, I wonder, just like every generation believes they're going to change things, and every generation thinks this is the end of the world. Oh no, look what happened now. I wonder, and I have no figures to back this up, which doesn't seem to stop anybody fucking else saying whatever the hell they want. But I wonder, I suspect things for human beings as a species are probably better now than they've ever been.
Yes. The great Steven Pinker, at least I think he's pretty great. Do you know who I mean?
I do not know that.
Harvard academic. He's a neuroscientist, sort of on the borders of neuroscience and psychology and linguistics. He wrote a book called The Language Instinct, which was very successful. He's kind of considered a sort of prophet, a second Noam Chomsky in linguistic terms, rather, not so much in political terms. But he wrote a book called The Better Angels of Our Nature, which is, of course, a quotation from Lincoln, or who himself took the quotation from other people. But it's a massive book that he wrote about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago perhaps, in which he sets out very clearly to demonstrate that the world has never been a better place.
Right.
There's never been less warfare. There's never been, better outcomes for a greater percentage of the population. In the face of our natural, pessimism, cynicism, and doubt about the age in which we live. But then we're old enough, you and I especially, to remember that all our lives we've heard adults saying how the world isn't what it was. It's gone to Helena Bonham Carter. No, that's not right. Helena Hancock.
I love the idea of the world going to Helena Bonham Carter. Because I'm in. Oysters, snails, whatever you've got. When it comes to Helena Bonham Carter, it's oysters and snails. That's what
Exactly.
I wonder, though, because it is an odd thing. I look back, I've been watching this television show called The Americans. Have you watched it?
Yes.
And it's all set in the 1980s. And
it's wonderful. Matthew Rhys is
he's
brilliant.
fantastic.
They're both brilliant, yeah.
What is it with the Welsh and great actors?
No, you Celts.
No, Welsh.
But you're right, yeah, Michael Sheen, Anthony
Michael
Hopkins,
Sheen, Richard Burton.
Yeah. Well, Richard Burton, Michael Sheen, and Anthony Hopkins and Rhys Ifans all come from the same small town.
Port Talbot.
Yes.
What the hell is going on there?
Yeah.
This is some sort of weird Hogwarts of acting in Port
Or like
Talbot.
Jerusalem, where all these religions pour out.
There you
in
go.
Port Talbot actors.
Port Talbot and Wales, all these. It's the ones that aren't consumed by phlegm become great speakers.
It's a very shitty steel town. I mean, it's not pretty. I mean, I love
it's
Wales,
a working
but Port
class
Talbot is
town, right?
very, very, yeah.
It's not like
It's
what
like
about acting? Yes, please.
Like Greenock or something.
It's just like, right, okay. Down off you go to Hollywood,
That's
then.
it.
Off you go to Hollywood and enjoy the acting. Take Catherine Zeta with you. Catherine Zeta-Jones, you see. See what I did?
Yeah.
I said Catherine Zeta. But I wonder about that. I wonder about the idea, because I look at the 1980s in this show, The Americans.
Yeah.
And I think, God, that was horrible, man. It was horrible. I remember having nightmares about nuclear holocaust a lot. Everyone was terrified that the Cold War was suddenly going to erupt into a
And Reagan made that
war.
evil empire speech. And
Right.
It was getting tense.
And it was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, I mean, I don't know if I say, I wouldn't say things were better then at all.
No.
Thatcher was running Britain, and the 3-day week, and that was in the 70s.
And
That
my
was
dear, the hair.
Yeah, the hair was bad. The hair was bad. And with Thatcher's hair, or just everybody's hair? Everybody was.
I for some reason, found myself, the way you go, strange jags in television, when dropping off to sleep, turning on Murder, She Wrote.
I love that show.
Isn't it great? And there's some astonishing 80s haircuts on display there. Oh, talking of that, just to bring back to the very first thing we were talking about when I came into the room, this shows the brilliance and imagination of people who work in television. There's a show on Hallmark, which is, I think, the thing that shows Murder, She Wrote, called Murder, She Baked. I am not making it up.
I am in.
It's a mystery, mystery hour.
Right.
When the detective is someone who bakes. And it's called Murder, She Baked.
I'm in. I think that's fantastic. Who is the lucky actor that gets to be the lead in Murder, She Baked?
Exactly. Do you think there's a nerdy one called Murder, He Coded? Or
Oh, I'm
something?
sure of it. Yeah,
the whole.
Oh, well, you know what? There
Have
was,
you looking it up? Joe's looking it up.
Yeah.
There is
Have you
a
found
show.
it?
Doctor. What's that show? There is a show about the coder that's involved in all of that stuff. Oh God, I can't remember it now. Doctor something.
Oh, right.
It's a young, very good.
Oh,
young
Robot, Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot.
Yes, that's
yeah.
rather very good, isn't it?
It is great. Yeah,
really
that actor, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Riz Ahmed. No, not Riz Ahmed.
Probably from Port Talbot, I'm thinking, in Wales. Even although he's playing a young, nerdy American kind of sort of Asperger's thing going on.
He won the Grammy, I think. Emmy, this year, I think.
And the Port Talbot Gazette for most promising young local.
And Christian Slater was in it.
Christian Slater as well, who, yes, I'm very fond of Christian Slater.
Like Christian Slater.
Yeah, he's what do you look? Oh, yeah, Murder, She Baked.
There it is on the screen.
Brought it up on the screen.
A chocolate chip cookie mystery.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one episode, is it? Yeah.
Murder, She Baked.
There it is.
With the
Hannah
Alice.
Swenson, or is that which? Oh, yes, Mike Kingston.
Yeah, Alison Sweeney is in it.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the name of their character. Sorry, I got reading all
Is it?
around.
I don't know. Well, I'm excited about that. The idea of baking and murder. What could be more British? I'm afraid there's been some sort of pastry and murder.
Well, but there was a British one. I don't know if it made it as far over as Masterpiece or Mystery Theatre on PBS or anything. But that was called Rosemary and Thyme, and that was about a couple of gardeners, women gardeners, who solved murders.
Oh, I think that's very
They'd be
good.
planting out the daisies, and suddenly they'd come across a body in the flower bed.
The improbable nature of all these old ladies in Britain finding this corpses strewn across the... I mean, you'd think they were in hell.
I know.
And it's rather... that looks like someone's been
Tourists
dead.
who come to Britain must be astonished at the fact that they don't find any bodies.
There's hardly
I
any.
went to Oxford and there was not a single murder. I don't understand. I watched Morse and Endeavour and
Oh, I do like
Lewis.
Endeavour, though. I
Yes,
do like
good, isn't
Endeavour.
it?
Yeah,
he's
it's right.
Welsh.
Is it? You're
He
kidding me.
actually plays Endeavour, yes.
Oh, what's
Sean
his name? Sean
Evans.
Of course. Probably from
Yes,
Port Talbot.
yes, that's right.
Jeez, they're bloody Welsh.
I know. Astonishing.
We have to take a break. We'll be back with Stephen Fry, who's in no way Welsh.
That's true. I'm not.
The Craig Ferguson Show. Don't go anywhere. The really good stuff is coming up right after the break.
If you've ever felt like you've had to choose between getting new blinds or holding on to your life savings, those fears, thankfully, end now. Thanks to SelectBlinds.com. Select Blinds won't gouge you like those big, greedy blind corporations. I didn't know there was such a thing.
Oh, the blind corporation.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Anyway, the Select Blinds, their loyal customers seem to agree. Just check the over 170,000 five-star reviews on their site. With Select Blinds, do-it-yourself doesn't mean you have to do it alone. In fact, if you can hang a picture, you can hang your own blinds. Hear what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
That's
like
amazing.
If you can do it yourself,
Yeah.
I'm implying masturbation, you can hang your own blinds. For added peace of mind, though, their specialists will walk you through how to measure, choose, and install your new window coverings. I really wish I hadn't said that bit earlier. Choose from a selection of high-quality custom blinds, shades, and drapes. They're served over 1 million happy customers. Why not be one of them? SelectBlinds.com. It really is the simple and smart way to get blinds. Shop today at SelectBlinds.com, mention our show at checkout, and get a sample swatch of the room-darkening blind or shade of your choice absolutely free. SelectBlinds.com, SelectBlinds.com. There.
Room darkening is good, because you might...
It's the Craig Ferguson Show on Sirius XM. Comedy Greats.
Stephen just made a very interesting point about SelectBlinds.com.
No, well, the room darkening sounds good, because if you're thinking of getting a projector for watching TV and so on, then
I thought you just had a big flat screen.
Well, you can have a big flat screen.
Yeah.
The projector's quite fun too. You know, you can have a really big screen then, but you do need a dark room, so good blind darkening.
Ah, well then, we mustn't be in any way flippant about Select Blinds. Not only because they're paying customers, but they probably make an excellent product.
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This room would be better darkened, I think. Anyway, Stephen Fry is here, and we've talked about God or not God. We've talked about the Great British Baking Show. We've talked about the unlikeliness of old ladies solving crimes in Britain. Mm-hmm. We have not touched at all upon your new show on CBS with Joel McHale, who I've known forever.
Yes, he's a wonderful fellow.
He's very buff, Joel. People don't know that about
He
Joel.
does a lot of working out. He's
A lot of working out and barely eats a thing. I think he just eats seeds. He eats seeds and lifts weights.
Oh, that's good. That's how you get ripped.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's too high a price. Too high a price.
But he's a lovely guy. More importantly, he's a prince of a man. He is an absolute charmer. And in this show, he plays an outdoors sort of figure, so it doesn't look inappropriate that he's quite so big-shouldered and swimmer's build and all the rest of it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know if you know the premise. I think it's rather good. He plays this journalist who is used to being up mountains and in deserts and jungles, filing reports for an outdoors magazine.
Right.
And I play this character who owns the magazine, and I realise, the modern world being what it is, that we've got to go digital, that we've got to stop being a printed publication.
Right.
And I need to pull him in from the wild because I can't afford to have him out there. So I'm changing the nature of the magazine. So he comes into an office staffed by these young millennials who know everything about Vine and Snapchat and the world of the web design and so on. And he knows nothing about that. He has, he's got a Hotmail address, let alone an AOL address. That's how useless he is.
Hotmail. I remember Hotmail.
Yes,
I love that.
So he is just not down with the kids, but he knows a lot about the outdoors, and they, of course, know nothing about the outdoors. They barely go outside to get a pizza. Everything is Uber Eats, and so it's a kind of clash of sensibilities, culture, and
generations.
And generations. It is, in that sense, although it's a workplace comedy, it's also a kind of family thing, because I'm, as it were, I suppose, the grandfather. I'm old enough
even say it.
Old enough to be Joel's father virtually, and he's, as it were, although he's like in his 30s and the millennials are in their 20s. So
right. Well, Joel's actually in his late 50s.
Of course.
I mean, that's how much he works out. He's been working out since the Carter administration,
Yeah,
I believe. That's when he started eating seeds. He hasn't had food. Do you know I became a vegan, by the way? Did I tell you that?
No, I didn't know
I
that.
did. I became
Mazel tov. That's fantastic.
Thank you very much indeed. Although we don't use Hebrew in the vegan.
Don't you?
Some of us do. Joe does.
Yeah.
It's not a very vegan diet, actually. It has to be said, the kosher
true,
diet.
yeah.
But that's what. Did you find it difficult? Did you make it a one fell swoop, or ease yourself into it?
Not that bad. It was a weird thing. I saw a documentary on Netflix called Forks Over Knives. I don't know if you've seen
I've heard about it. I've not seen
It's
it.
very interesting because the two guys that are in it, I can't remember their name. One of them is Carter Esselstyn, who's a very famous heart surgeon at the Cleveland Clinic.
Right.
So he's a very proper grown-up doctor. And the other guy involved is a hugely influential, I think also a doctor. They're talking about the health issues. And I just innocently watched this while enjoying some sort of beef sandwich. And as which isn't some euphemism.
All right, yeah.
I was having a beef sandwich with some oysters and some snails. But I watched this thing and I thought, well, I'll give it a try because it made an impact on me. I mean, they make a very convincing case about plant proteins versus animal proteins.
Yeah.
And then I did it for about a week, and I found, much to my horror, that I can't go back.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. The smell of meat or dairy now I find repellent. And
That's so interesting. I mean, obviously they're not vegans, but the original kind of the long Japanese civilization before they met with the West in those famous kind of Madame Butterfly meetings, as it were, with the first American sailors to come over and trade. They thought that we, the Europeans, would stank of
sour milk.
Dairy products.
Yeah.
It is very unnatural. I mean, if you were to tell an alien that you subsisted on a protein juice that came from the udders of another species that they used to allow their young to double in weight every 3 days, so packed with stuff.
It's just,
and you just swigged it back after a game of badminton.
Freeze it and put sugar in it. And all.
It's absurd, isn't it?
Hell are you doing?
And I have to say, you should squeeze my nut bag.
Okay.
You should. I bought a nut bag. I make my own almond milk now. I love almond milk.
Good Lord, you're not a vegan too.
I'm not, but how quickly I've gone off dairy shows that I sort of could. Eggs, I am fond of eggs, and I do like cheese, and I'd have to find a way around it because I like making cauliflower cheese. And it's like a mac and cheese with cauliflower.
This is the problem. I like all of the things you're describing. I can't get back.
It's just the smell.
The smell is
fascinating. But you feel more healthy, I hope.
I do, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you look great.
I thank you. I've had my teeth whitened.
You've always had such huge gnashers.
No, I think they've been whitened a couple of times by now, and there's a lot of products in there, like the expensive toothpaste and mouthwash made of
little silver particles.
All that stuff.
Yes, yeah.
All of it. Anyway, but the milk is one thing. I could never go back to that. Meat, I think, weirdly enough, I think I could eat meat again. But the thing is, in Scotland, we have a house, and there's some chickens there. And I love the eggs from those chickens, except now even those chicken eggs smell like poop to me.
Yes.
I feel robbed, actually.
That's fascinating.
But at the same time, you can be very vegan and pollute the air with your sanctimonious whining about other people's diets, which I really try not to do.
Yeah,
people get annoyed at it.
absolutely. And there are these variations. Obviously, the paleo diet seems to be quite big here on the West Coast,
Right.
where we are. You see endless restaurants that offer paleo this and paleo takeaways, and so if you, I've never quite understood what it means, because I don't think historically, or indeed prehistorically, it actually makes sense. I don't think there's any evidence for what they call a paleo diet being what our Paleolithic forebears ate. But the principle of not having refined sugars and refined flours is probably a sensible one.
Well, I think that's what it is. I think the sugar is the devil.
Yes.
It's just you can't avoid it. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like anything. And that, I think...
Bread. There's just
Sugar and bread.
I don't understand that.
It's absolutely outrageous. I'm sorry, I'm beginning to talk like an
Terry
actor
Thomas.
from Port Talbot. So do you go back a lot to Britain then? Have you been... I mean, you're working here a lot with the CBS show.
The CBS show is, being a 22-episode series, obviously keeps me here 9 months of this year. There may be a second season, I don't know.
I would say so.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But I went back for 4 nights a few weeks ago. I host the British Academy Film Awards, the BAFTAs, as
I
they're
thought
called.
you'd stop doing that.
No, I found myself doing it again.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of...
slipped
it's kind
off the
of
wagon.
The British Oscars sort of a thing.
Well, yes, I guess. And that was fun. That was the only time I've been back in the last year.
Because didn't you get into some awful spat with Twitter?
I sort of did. I mean, it was my own fault, and I was super sensitive as I am. So I'm really not cut out for any kind of warfare on social media. I just get
It's
upset.
hard. I block everyone all the time. The slightest hint of negativity, if I even suspect sarcasm, I block. I just absolutely... And not mute. I want you to know.
Yeah.
I won't mute you. I'll block. The only people I mute are people I think, oh, bless them. And then I mute them because I feel a bit sorry for them.
You know who I mean, I'm sure, by the British comic Paul Merton.
Yes, of course. I worked with him years ago.
Yeah, and he's never been on Twitter. As far as I know, he doesn't even have email. And I said to him, do you not see any advantage of Twitter? Because you'd have a lot of followers. He's very popular in Britain.
Yes.
And you'd be able to sell your shows that much more quickly and not have to do any press, You just cut them out and speak directly to fans. And he said, yeah, but I said, I've seen what it does to people. I mean, it looks to me like you're taking the worst heckler of the evening back home with you every night.
Oh, God.
And I thought that's a very good way of putting it, isn't it?
Yeah.
The worst heckler. Because they're the ones you hear. That's the point.
I know.
I think of it as like a swimming pool. If someone says, it's 99% clean, there's just a tiny little turd in the corner,
Yes,
I'm still not going to swim in it.
You're right.
And it's that one little turd that ruins the whole experience.
So have you...
But what I only post, I don't read.
Good. I kind of do that anyway.
Yeah.
I read it a little bit sometimes, but mostly it's just tweet and run.
Yeah.
Tweet, forward roll, leave them.
Yeah, you put the notice up on the wall and
Right.
don't stop to watch anybody clustering around and reading it and overhearing their remarks.
But people are, for the most part,
Terrific.
Lovely.
Wonderful.
And
I've made real friends, genuinely,
yes,
over the years.
It's one of the... I got into doing road trips across America. It's one of these things. And I think that one of the things that films from the 1970s onwards, in the same way that American tourists probably expect old ladies in Britain to solve murders, I've always expected there to be drifters out there waiting to kill and eat me, or something of that nature in America. And it really
Like the
is.
Hitcher,
It's lovely out there,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just that there are douchebags everywhere, and every now and again you're going to come across them. And
That's absolutely true. Yeah, P.G. Woodhouse is a writer I admired greatly.
Me too.
When he was in his heyday, he'd be in his London flat in Mayfair, and he'd be writing letters. He always answered every letter he ever received, right up to his death. And he'd be typing away, and he would put it in its envelope, address it, put a stamp on it, and throw it out the window. Never bothered to take it to the postbox to post it, because he figured that the average person seeing a stamped addressed envelope in the street will put it up and post it for you.
they would.
And he claims he never had one go astray.
That's fantastic.
I think that's a fabulous
It's
sign
funny.
of faith in human nature.
It's funny you mentioned P.G. Woodhouse, because it was something I thought I want to try to bring it up with you today, because not because of you doing Jeeves and Wooster with you, which is fabulous, but it was more because when I'm depressed, which I don't I don't suffer from anything remotely resembling clinical depression, but everyone gets down, and
sure.
I have 2 books that I can go to.
Yeah.
The Pride of the Woosters and Tom Sawyer.
The Code of the Woosters.
The Code of the Woosters and Tom Sawyer.
Oh, that's a very good choice.
These are, and I go to these books and I can read them even
about
when I'm
Spode and the cow creamer and the whole world of that story. It is just brilliant. I remember doing a literary festival years and years ago, and on were 2 very fine novelists I admired enormously. They've since become friends, I'm happy to say, but I was really nervous because the great literary novelists, one was Jay McInerney, who wrote Bright Lights, Big City and many other great American novels. The other was Julian Barnes, who's a British novelist, who wrote Flaubert's Parrot and Metroland, all kinds of Arthur and George won the Booker for. And we each had to bring a book that we wanted to talk about. And I thought, it's going to be Julian Barnes and Jay McInerney. What am I going to choose? And I thought, do I choose Ulysses? Anyway, I think I chose Ethan Frome. I thought it was just a book I'd been thinking of. I'd reread it about a year earlier or something. Right. And I was thrilled to discover Jay McInerney chose The Code of the Woosters. Fantastic. And it formed an instant bond.
Well, it's funny about P.G. Wodehouse as well, because there was someone he became an American.
He did indeed become an American
and wrote screenplays here in Hollywood. And
he did, and
quintessentially English writer, but also a Hollywood figure, big Hollywood figure.
He came over just as sound was coming into movies, and he was, there was this great run on this from the producers and the studios to get people who could write dialogue. Suddenly, you needed dialogue rather than just scenario cards, which is what you used in the days of silent movies.
Right.
And so he came over, as of course did famously, people like F. Scott Fitzgerald and many other figures. And he actually caused a bit of a fuss. He changed the history of Hollywood, in fact, although he didn't wasn't responsible for many great screenplays. Mm-hmm. He arrived, and after about a year and a half of being here, made a lot of friends. He wrote quite a lot of short stories based in Hollywood. Very funny first one, where this chap, British fellow, says, it's rather nice, Hollywood. He says, you go to all these film sets and everything, all these flats, as they call them, showing the facades of buildings and everything. And it gets so that when you meet a new person, you can't help looking round to see if they go all the way round. And you know what? Usually they don't. But he got interviewed by New York Magazine, and he said, it's rather wonderful here, I get paid $40,000 a week, whatever it was, some vast sum of money. And I've written half a screenplay. It's not been put on, but I've had the opportunity to write 4 of my novels in peace and quiet in the lovely bougainvillea-filled gardens of Hollywood, and I think it's charming. And at that time, the banks that bankrolled Hollywood out east were thinking of trying to find ways to cut costs, and they read this, and they were outraged. It became this big story, and Wodehouse found himself very persona non grata with a lot of other writers, because he thought he'd ruined their
angry at him for the first time in my life. I'm angry at him.
So suddenly there was a heck of a lot of cheese paring and economizing because of what Wodehouse had said. But he also, in many ways, invented the Broadway musical in the he worked with Jerome Kern and Cole Porter and the Gershwins, all the greats, and in their very earliest days, he would write the
book, because you wrote the book to Me and My Girl, the revival.
Yes, that's right.
That's not still on.
Yes, it's still every now and
you must
again.
Be enormously wealthy. Good God, that was on in the 1980s.
I remember saying to Lin-Manuel Miranda when he was giving one of the BAFTA awards at the thing, and so while they're playing the video package, as they still call it, you always chat with the presenter in the dark while that's going on. And I said, I just want to congratulate you, I said, on Hamilton. It was an incredible achievement. And I said, I'm now going to say something really vulgar. He said, what's that? Because he's a young chap, sweet young fellow. I said, I don't think you really understood yet just how rich you are going to be. He said, Cameron McIntosh said that to me.
Yeah. I have a story about Cameron McIntosh, which I have been dying to tell you. Which is Cameron McIntosh, famous, fabulously famous producer of Cats and
Misérables,
all the giant Broadway,
all the big ones of the 80s.
Scottish, of course, right?
Indeed, very
right.
So.
Cameron McIntosh, when he goes the tour of Cats, is going around the UK, and he went to the Theatre Royal in Glasgow for the party afterwards. It was a big deal. Everybody loved it. Theatre Royal, and the Cats, a huge success. But at the party afterwards is a Scottish comedian called Jack Mulroy. Did you ever see Jack Mulroy?
I don't think so. The name does ring a bell.
He's very, very, very funny. I loved Jack. He was a real kind of just a very, very beautiful, absurdist Scottish comedian,
Right.
kind of music hall comedian. Worked a lot with Ricky Fulton. Ricky Fulton and Jack Mulroy were
wonderful.
big Scottish comedians. And he was an old man by then, Jack. But Cameron McIntosh, of course, knows who he is and revered him because he knows who this man is. So at the party afterwards, he goes over to Jack and he said, well, Jack, what do you think? Do you enjoy my musical? He went, great show, son. Great show. Great show. Come here. Too many cats. you need to get a horse or a dolphin or something. It's too many cats.
Then you got a show.
Yeah. It's just too many cats.
There was a great equivalent of Cameron McIntosh back in the 20s, even earlier than that, who produced a show in London called Goodnight Vienna, which was a huge success in the West End. And then he wanted to tour it, and he called the comedian Rob Wilton, who was from the northwest of England, to get his advice about this tour. He said, it's CB here, Rob. He said, oh, hello. He said, yes, I'm thinking of taking Goodnight Vienna to Warrington. How well do you think it would go down there? He said, about as well as Goodnight Warrington would go down in Vienna.
Yes. I don't know. I think that doesn't... I suppose it exists, that kind of anecdotal, lovely, theatrical life. It exists in Britain still, do you think, with repertory theatres and pantomimes and touring companies? I don't think it exists in the US.
It's funny, because actors talk about this, because actors still always tell stories of previous generations of actors, and I noticed this on Broadway as much as in the West End. I was on Broadway a few years ago doing a production of Twelfth Night.
Right.
And I remember we were saying in the green room, no one is going to be telling stories like this about us. We were telling stories about John Gielgud and Alec Guinness and indeed the American greats, John Barrymore and actors like that. And we were saying, well, they can say, I was with Ken Branagh and he dropped his spoon. That's what happens. We're just so normal.
Branagh does always drop the spoon, though. He does. There's no denying.
Nobody drops it like him. With such a flourish.
I tell you, you can hear the dingly dongle of spoons hitting the floor as Kenny approaches.
But the great Celtic drunks, for example, Richard Harris and Peter O'Toole, the Irish ones, and obviously Richard Burton we've mentioned. And the stories that come from them are astonishing.
I think there are still the characters, though, these odd characters. Have you ever the Alec Guinness's autobiography?
It's very good.
He read the audiobook himself, and it was one of the first audiobooks I ever listened to, because it's Alec Guinness. It's fantastic.
It's Obi-Wan.
And he does have this very odd way. Everything, because he was a decorated war hero. Mm-hmm. He talks about it, because I feel like his publisher said, no, you must talk about your exploits during the Second World War. But he is clearly much more interested in his theatrical career. Yeah. So he says this rather it's lovely, he says, after a spot of unpleasantness in Tobruk, yes, I was lucky enough to get the part of the Chinese policeman in the Perth Repertory Company's production of Aladdin. I was on my way. I love the fact that Leslie Phillips was another one. He was a behind the lines commando during the Second World War, and these guys who had huge dramatic lives, but really only cared about the theatre and what they did.
Yeah.
I think that still exists, probably. Do you think that these characters are still in the theatre? I think probably you're one.
There's something particularly about... Well, yes, maybe I am, but there's something particularly true about theatre as opposed to film or television, which makes it an all-consuming vocation, and you do find actors, really... Gielgud, there's a story that Alec Guinness used to tell about John Gielgud walking along in London, and we had these huge barrage balloons. You remember for the Blitz? These go on the ends of steel hawsers, going all the way up high into the air. These grey or very matte, so they didn't shine. The idea being obviously that the bombers would fly into them, and they were a kind of hazard for bombers. And, and so naive was John Gielgud that he looked up at these as he was walking along with Alec Guinness one day. said, "Oh, I do feel so terrible for those poor boys up there. They must be freezing." I said, "There's no one up there, Johnny." I said, "Well, what? Well, what are they for?" He had no idea. I mean, it's just incredible because
The city is being bombed every night.
And then Ralph Richardson, another of that generation, who was serving in the Navy, and it was this wonderful moment when there was the huge bombs on the West End. I say wonderful moment, awful, obviously. Bombs dropping all over. Buckingham Palace was hit, and various other places were hit. And Ralph Richardson was seen trying desperately to get a phone line so he could find out, did they get the Ivy, which is the theatrical restaurant where everybody likes sardies in New York. You know,
is it still there? The Ivy, people still do all
yes.
that.
Yeah.
God, I kind of missed that a little bit. There's one thing that I feel that doesn't really exist either in Hollywood, and it certainly doesn't exist in late night television. There's no, although we would all get together and sit in Dave's hot tub once a year for just
of course you would.
Hugs,
the worldwide pants party.
Yeah, but the idea of that kind of, because musicians have that.
They do more.
Musicians live in each other's company all the time and collaborate and move between, and I think that's what helps theatrical actors, because film actors, well, I guess when you make a film it becomes a bit like a family for a while, I guess.
Yes, but you know that chances are you'll not really work with anyone else on that unit again. Well,
Right.
one or two of them you will. Oh, you were the clapper loader, you were the assistant cameraman on that movie I did 3 years ago, weren't
Right.
you? Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, how are you? And occasionally the same actor you'll work with again, but you form and reform, group and regroup.
I think also as well that in theatrical tradition everyone was kind of drunk a lot of the time. It was like I remember when I was doing the Rocky Horror Show in the West End in the Piccadilly, they give you free membership to the Groucho Club in London. It's notorious, drinking den, a hive of cocaine use. As it was then. I'm sure it's perfectly
very
legal
different
now.
now,
Yeah. But there was a very nice man. I think his name, I can't remember his name. He was the secretary of the club. He was the
Liam Carson.
Liam, yes.
Yeah.
And he, I was, you become an automatic member of the club
When you're in the West End show, yeah.
Right. So the show ended, and I continued to go to the
Grouch,
Club
yeah.
for years. And eventually he came over to me, and I was sitting at the bar one night, and he said, "Hello." I said, "Hello, Liam, can I get you a drink?" He said, "Yes, that'd be lovely." And we got a drink, we were having a drink, and he said, "You've been coming here for a while now." I said, "Yes, I have, Ron." He said, I don't wish to be vulgar, but would you mind joining?"
There's a great story, which is the clubs like that. Of course, it's in Soho. It's in Soho, London, a bit like the counterpart in New York. It has a street life which is quite vibrant, and including vagrants and so on, and lots of other people. So it has to have security, but it doesn't have great big bouncers. It just has these girls at the reception desk, mostly girls, and. I was sitting in the back with Liam once. We were chatting, having a drink, and one of the girls came through from the reception and said, Liam, there's this drunk, this strange street guy, this tramp, this bum. We can't get him out. He just stands there staring at us." And Liam said, I'll sort it out. I thought, I really want to watch how Liam deals with someone from the street, because it's not easy. They might get violent or whatever. So we went out through the double doors, and there was this man with very hollow eyes and stubble and an old greatcoat and his hands thrust into the pockets. And Liam just came out and just put out his hand and said, "Mr. Pacino, how can we help you?" And the girls wanted to sort of kill themselves. They were so embarrassed.
God.
And so the girl who did that, who was became a very good friend, and I always used to tease her about that and said, "Miss Pacino been in yet?" And she said, "Oh, shut up." And then about a year later, she said, "I've done it again." I said, "What happened?" She said, "Well, I sent someone away who came, and they were saying, could I come in and have a drink?" And I said, "Well, I'm afraid unless you're a guest of a member." And he said, "Oh, that's okay." And he turned and he left, and just as he was leaving, a friend of mine said, "Oh, what was Eric Clapton doing?" If you've not got a good memory for faces, it's not the job for you.
It's not the job for you. No, it's funny though that kind of club life in London. One of the few things I enjoyed about active alcoholism was the fact that club life
Yes.
made it, it's like being a vegan in Hollywood. It just made it easier.
Yeah.
It was set up for you. There was plenty of places.
So true.
to go.
It's a small enough, intensely close enough, walkable sort of a city around
Right.
all these areas, and you just know a few people, and you then know a few more people, and suddenly you're in the
You
swim.
can
as
get
it
it.
were.
I remember though the great Sir Lenworth Henry.
Ah, yes. Indeed, he is indeed Sir
He is
Lenworth.
Sir Lenworth now, yeah. Lenny Henry, who's a comedian we knew back in the day, who's still immensely famous and successful in Britain, but he's now Sir Lenworth Henry. And Lenny said about me, he said, Craig, you're the drunk that people step over in the Groucho Club going in. Said you really must try and last the whole night.
It's
But
true.
different time.
Yes.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, can you hang around for a bit more?
For a little bit, yes. What is the? I'm supposed to be somewhere at 5. So
Well, you
maybe I
better
can-
get out of here.
Yeah,
then.
well, I better go.
Yes,
yeah.
we'll say goodbye now then.
I hadn't realised so much time had gone. Listen, everybody, I had such pleasure being on this show, and I
we
commend
hope
you for being listeners of it. I will go and sign up to Sirius myself and
We can get you
and
free.
become a listener. Oh no, no!
Oh, we can get you free. We can get you free Sirius, free coffee at Starbucks. You can get cinnamon lattes.
The listeners will think we're a sneering coastal metropolitan elite if we
No,
talk like
they
that.
know. They know me. I'm one of the trucking folk.
Excellent.
I'm folk.
Rubber duck.
Yeah, see, you remember it.
Oh
Convoy.
yes, I
We were
love
just
that.
talking-
Movie. And the song.
Yeah, we got a great big convoy.
Now, he's a fascinating man, Chris Christopherson. I admire him enormously.
Really?
Yeah, he came from a very rich family. He was a Rhodes Scholar.
What?
Yeah, he was a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford University, and he had a life ahead of him of total kind of preppy perfection and riches, and he just wanted to, pick up a cigarette and a guitar and hit the road in the South and pick up songs from and pick with people.
That's
and he
cool.
wrote
That's
one of
really-
the greatest songs of all time,
couple of them.
Sunday Morning Coming Down.
Yeah,
I mean, how great is that?
That is, by the way, if you want to describe alcoholism,
Poetry.
oh
It's
my
fantastic
God,
poetry.
Sunday morning coming down.
Do you know the song? It's just great. Johnny Cash does perhaps the greatest version of it,
Yeah,
even
it's
better
fine.
than Christopherson himself,
You can play 30 seconds of it, and we'll
without
say,
PRS problems.
right, and then we'll say ta-ta to Stephen, which now his theme music will always be from this point on.
Oh.
Sunday morning coming down.
Do we want the Christopherson version?
Sure, let's
Yeah,
go
why
for the
not?
original.
He wrote it.
Yeah,
All right, you guys ready?
yeah. I can't.
Too many members.
Yeah,
Euphoric flashback.
Stephen Fry, come back and see us again.
I'd love
Stephen,
it.
Very
I don't
soon.
live far away. That would
And
be a pleasure.
We'll be right back. Falling asleep can be as hard as the work day they just put in, but it doesn't have to be. Great sleep starts with the right sheets, and they're more affordable than you think, thanks to Ball and Branch. Ball and Branch sheets are crafted from 100% organic cotton. They feel incredible. They get softer over time and last for years. Ball and Branch sells exclusively online, so you don't have to pay that expensive retail markup. Try them for 30 nights, and if you're not impressed, return them for a full refund. Anyone who sleeps in Ball and Branch sheets loves them. They have thousands of 5-star reviews. The New York Times, Forbes, the Wall Street Journal rave about them. And even 3 US presidents have Ball and Branch sheets. I can't tell you which ones.
You can't.
But I love them. Go to ballandbranch.com today and get $50 off your first set of sheets plus free shipping with the promo code COMEDY. That's $50 off plus free shipping right now at ballandbranch.com. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. Promo code COMEDY.
It's the Craig Ferguson Show on Sirius XM. Comedy Greats.
Oh man, that Stephen Fry. You end up talking about a lot of stuff, don't you?
He is delightful.
He's a lovely man, but we talked a lot of stuff, and some of his views are controversial.
Sure. But that's what's part of his charm, right?
That's what life is about. You can't just talk to people that you agree with all the time. That's not right.
I feel like the British accent helps too, If you say,
It makes things more important.
yeah,
for sure.
and more palatable if you don't agree, but it just sounds nice, right?
Like if he's absolutely not.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good. We should take some calls. We haven't talked to any.
People called, and then I think they hung up
They hung up.
because you were chatting, and it was really mostly entertaining. And
Was it entertaining? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I was just like talking too long to my old pal.
Oh, no. I think we all learned a lot about British life. We learned a lot about Stephen. We learned a little bit of history, religion.
Did we learn anything about Steve? Did I interview him properly, or did he just tell
I feel
us
like
stuff?
it'd be awkward if you really interviewed him properly, because
Yeah,
you know
no.
him, right?
Yeah,
so
no,
it's
it'd
you're
be
just
strange.
asking questions you know the answer to.
Yeah, no, that'd be weird. That'd be weird and kind of dishonest.
Yeah. But you
I
just-
don't like that. See, when I was doing the late night show, I used to get into trouble with publicists because they would say, you have to see the movie before the guest comes on. And I'd say, no, I'm not going to do that. And they go, you have to, or they're not coming on. I'm like, well, then they better not come on. See, I don't think if someone's on your show, you say, tell me about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen the movie, then you're not really asking them, are you? You're just setting them up so they can spout some bullshit about the movie. Whereas, if you haven't seen the movie and you say, tell me about the movie, you really want to know because you don't know anything about it.
Yeah, and they have to sell you on it.
Exactly. I would imagine, wouldn't you be more interested in doing that?
Oh, for sure.
That's what I think. Anyway, you can call us if you want. It's not 1-800-MATTRESS. What is it, Joe?
No, it's 844-5-GREATS, which also translates to 844-547-3287.
844-547-3287. You say it like that, I think it's easier to remember.
What did I say?
Oh, a bunch of other numbers. I'm not sure.
What? That's crazy because I was reading it, but I said didn't say what I was reading.
You just said a bunch of numbers.
Just made stuff up. Should we tell people what to call about? Is there like a specific topic?
I don't think that's fair. I think you can call about anything you want. If something's upset you, if you're angry at us, or if you're happy with us, or you just want to chat. Or you just want to chat.
Sure, we're here
Just
for you.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're very high up.
Yeah, we are.
We are here for
Why
you.
Why do you get high up on the voice when you're trying to be?
You know what it
calming?
is? It's evolutionary. It's because female voices sound more sympathetic. So if your voice goes higher, it sounds like you're more sympathetic.
Oh, it's like,
So it's like, I really want to hear what you have to say.
oh yeah, that actually worked.
If you sound like a British lady, people want to tell you their secrets. Whereas if you sound like an American gentleman, people just want to trust you.
Trust you.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Trust me.
Yeah. Anyway, you can phone us, or you can go on the Twitter at the C Ferg Show.
Sure. Yeah.
What's that? Instagram? At the Craig Ferguson Show. I'm bored with this already.
Yeah. You miss Steven, don't you?
No, I just don't want. I just don't want a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to be reading out things.
Sure.
I didn't get a radio show to read out things.
No. If you don't want to read them out, just tell me. I'll read them out for you. I'm here for you.
Can you do the commercials too?
I don't know if they'll be happy with it, but I'm willing to do them. You got that voice, you know.
What, the high up lady voice?
Yeah, maybe we could be
that's
selling
the
some
one.
more stuff if you did the high up lady voice.
Yeah. Hey, we got a call. Tanner in Kansas wants to comment on veganism. Hey, Tanner, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Tanner, I'm guessing you're not for it, are you?
Oh, I'm not for vegan. I do a lot of hunting and fishing, and I'm pretty avid on having my meat and my muscle meat.
I think that's fine. I sometimes I mean I would say, couldn't you go and no, I've got nothing against that. I'm not against it. I'm just saying I do it. But I tell you what, it's very easy to catch vegetables if you're out hunting.
Yeah.
And like you're after a buck or something, and they run away.
Oh yeah.
You could just shoot a vegetable. You'd be good.
I don't even know if you have to shoot it first.
You get skunked out, and you got to go figure out what you're going to have for dinner after that.
Right. Exactly.
I also wanted to touch on your whole coffee argument that you had going on earlier about Americans not being big on the whole plain coffee.
Well, that was Stephen. That wasn't me. But okay, what was it?
Right. Well, there's more and more of these pour over, just plain old coffee, just good coffee shops popping up. There's few of them, but they're starting to pop up a little more frequently now.
Right.
Where it's about the flavor of the coffee itself and not what you add to it.
Right. Yeah.
Even in Kansas, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's happening. Yeah. What part of Kansas are you in?
Oh, I'm from the capital, the Topeka.
Topeka. Yeah, Topeka's got Starbucks. Come on.
But No, I don't like Starbucks. I haven't gone to a Starbucks in about 9 years.
Whoa. Are you sure you're American?
I am American. I do travel. I am a truck driver, and I will intentionally stop at some of these little bistros that have the pour-over coffee just to try their style.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
One of which I can't remember the name of, but it was in Nashville. It had amazing coffee.
Well, listen, if you remember it, Tanner, call us back. But we got to move on. It's lovely to talk to you. Be careful out there when you're hunting. Don't let the vegetables grab you.
Yes.
I liked him.
Very nice. He had a lot to say and touched on 2 different topics.
Right. What I'm kind of worried about is that everyone who phones in is going to get very concerned about religion.
Which isn't fair because they probably want to talk to Stephen about it, and he's bailed.
Yeah, he tucks and rolls.
So now we have to sit here and defend him?
Now we have to deal with everybody who's going to be mad at us because we don't go to church enough.
Oh, man.
Well, you're Jewish and I'm a Scottish Protestant.
Yeah, so you can't blame us.
Well, you can.
You can, but we
Apparently.
Yeah, you can, but we won't take it.
Won't we?
I guess we have to take it.
I think a little bit. I don't know. Tyler in Virginia. What's going on there with Tyler? What are you doing, Tyler?
I'm just driving to a board game session, but
a board game.
Say,
what board game?
What board game, Tyler?
The nerdy games.
Oh,
is that a name of a game, or are there a bunch? They're just nerdy games.
Is it like the Olympics for nerds?
Yeah, well, I wish. But, like Settlers of Catan, it got mentioned on Big Bang Theory,
Oh, right, yeah. You've lost me. Anyway, so you're driving. What are you driving in? Prius, I'm betting.
Ford Focus.
Ford Focus.
Oh,
okay,
that's
America's. Right? That's America's Prius.
Yeah, that is actually America's
Prius.
Kind
of a little bit.
Yeah.
Ford Focus, decent, reasonably priced car.
Yeah,
does a good job
and easy to park.
Right there, you go. You're welcome, Ford Corporation. What's up, Tyler? What can we do for you?
I was just calling to say that you're right. That the interview that you had with Stephen Fry was absolutely phenomenal, and you touched on so many issues. I actually called earlier to see if I could get on during your conversation, but you guys went from different topics to different topics.
Yeah, we were going all over the place.
And like you were talking to the last guy, that you get people calling in saying that you guys aren't religious, but it doesn't matter if you're religious. I think if you just follow the golden rule, treat people like how you would like to be treated.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's lovely.
I feel like if people just followed that, I don't want to be murdered. I don't want to be stolen from, so I'm not going to murder you, or I'm not going to steal from you,
I think we have to get you into public office, Tyler.
Yeah,
we have to get you into
golden rule
right
for
away.
A reason.
Right away. Golden rule.
Yeah.
Golden rule.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Sadly.
Okay, we got to run. Have a good time at the nerdy games. I liked him.
Yeah, that was real. I'm surprised that's our first golden rule caller.
Well, I think, to be fair, I think a lot of people are, because I'm looking at the board, it's lit up. The board is lit up with people who are calling in.
Lines are full.
The lines are full. They're jammed. And here's the thing. Nobody is really calling to be mad at us.
No.
I thought, the one thing they always say about when you're on the TV or on the radio or anything is don't talk about religion or politics. People get so mad at you.
Sure.
And if you look at all these radio shows, which are beneath us in the ratings, by the way.
Yeah, by a lot.
By a lot. But if you look at them all, everybody's yelling at each other about politics and religion.
Right.
And I'm so bored with it, I'm just annoyed. I'm even annoyed at the people I agree with.
Yeah, sure.
I just don't want to...
Oversaturated.
Look, it's going to be there. The argument's not going away. Can't we just for half an hour not have an argument? Yeah. Or is it too important? See, people who think, no, it's too important, we can't take a break.
No, I'm exhausted from it.
All right. Well, good for you. Thanks. Have you been told to agree with me no matter what I say?
Yeah. That's my golden rule.
Really? Is that it? Really?
No. I feel like I'm just being supportive. You look over at me and I want to be like, yeah, good. Yeah, I agree, Craig.
fine.
Or maybe you've just been right so far.
So far.
But when you're wrong, get ready.
Yeah, I know. Then you'll be. What about? Is that Kimmy in Arkansas? Kimmy, is that? Did I say your name properly?
It's Kime.
Kime, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
man.
They've spelled it. In Scotland, it's pronounced Kimmy.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
You and Sarah Paulson first said my name on the caller list on the first day, and it made my week. I want to thank you. I want to congratulate you for your meteoric rise to the top. Number 2
thanks.
1 week.
Thanks. Yeah, the number 2 radio show on Earth, I think.
Definitely on Earth, and it's to be determined on the rest of the galaxy.
Right, we don't know for sure. Ratings aren't in. But it's certainly huge.
Well,
so that's good, Kime.
Yes, sir.
What is that name, Kime? What's the origins of that name?
It's actually a British name. My ancestors came from Great Britain. It was my maternal grandmother's last name, and they decided to call me Kime.
Oh, Kime.
I think there's a river Kime or a.
Oh yeah, the old Kime water.
Is that true?
No, I made it up.
Wow, but when you say it, it sounds real.
Well, thanks, Joe. I'm beginning to smell a rat with how supportive you're being. I'm starting to feel you're a paid lackey.
No. I'm completely unpaid.
Okay, that's fair enough then. What's going on, Kime? Did you have anything to say about the conversation with Stephen, or are you angry about coffee or religion?
Not angry at all. I'm an ordained Southern Baptist minister.
Stop it!
That's beautiful.
And,
that is beautiful. Well, good for you.
And I found I actually am not a minister anymore because they had a problem with my name being on the Ashley Madison list, but that's another story.
It sounds like a fascinating story if you don't let me say so.
But I want to say that you guys were exactly right. I mean, I got to a point where I sat in church and I started to think, bullshit. I just started to call bullshit as I heard certain things. Not everything. Certainly still have my faith and still have my belief, but so many things are just couched in a way to make people feel better, but they don't really exist in reality.
Sounds like are you having a crisis of faith? Do you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm better.
Well, I guess.
That's what all that matters.
I guess that's all.
That's the direction you want to go, is to self-improvement.
Look, Kime, it's lovely talking to you. We have to move on, but good luck on your spiritual journey.
That was nice.
I like that. I like Kime.
Great name too.
Yeah, I think though, to be fair, I think he was the last. His family were the last Kimes in Britain.
Oh, really?
I don't think there's any more Kimes left there. I think they came over here, and that's it.
They ran out of Kime?
I think that's it. Oh, hey.
Thank you.
Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you working on your Vegas act?
Yeah, I feel like that would crush in Vegas.
Well,
actually, since he called that last Monday, I've been working on that joke.
Have you ever done stand-up?
I've done it a handful of times.
You should do it. I think it's time.
Yeah, for truckers? Or?
I don't know. I think, well, maybe for truckers. I mean, look, truckers are just people who drive trucks. They're not they're as diverse and wildly different in their opinions as any other American.
In any audience, there could be truckers there.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, don't patronize our trucker audience with stereotyping them.
Oh, no, I love them. As long as they're supportive audience members, I love them. They're my favorites.
Well, all right. Let's see. This is Victoria in Houston. Victoria, you there?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Victoria. It's nice to hear a lady voice. It's been a sausage party here all day. How are you doing? What's going on with you?
Well, I'm just, I wanted to say this show was really cathartic for me today because I was listening to it on the way home from spending all day in the ICU for the past 2 weeks, and it was the first time I've really smiled in weeks.
Oh, that's nice. I'm sorry that you're. Who's in the ICU?
Oh, my dad.
That's awful. Yeah, that's tough.
That is tough, but it's good. I mean, it's nice that we have a trucker audience, and we're here to provide some, smiles.
That's what it is, because I have to tell you, Victoria, what the idea I'm thinking is that, look, there's plenty of people who agree with what I think and plenty of people who don't agree with what I think. And the truth is, I don't wish harm on any of them.
No.
And what we're trying to do in this show here is just do exactly what we we're doing with you, which is just give you a place to hide from the noise for a little while. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I want to thank you so much for that.
Well, you're welcome, and that's what's made us the number 2 show in,
Yes.
in the United States.
Yes, that's it.
In the United States, Victoria.
Congratulations, and I hope it just gets better and better for you.
Well, thank you, Victoria, and I hope your dad gets better too. I hope things work out for you. I'm sorry you're going through this right now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
See, what I think maybe you underappreciate because you're, from Scotland is the British talk you guys had going to an American just makes us smile. Even if we can't understand what you're talking about, it's nice,
Really?
Yeah, it's like old theater stories.
So it's like Downton Abbey?
Yeah, I was sitting here. You guys are on either side, and
Yeah.
it was kind of like being in an episode. It was
Of
really
Downton Abbey?
Yeah, it was really nice.
Well, who was who?
Don't know the show well enough to name anyone, but whoever your favorite character was probably who you were.
I watched that show for a little while, and then I was like, that's enough.
It must have felt like home.
No, this may shock you, Joe,
Yeah.
but I did not grow up in Downton Abbey.
Wow, I've actually been to where you grew up.
Right, you've been to where I grew up, and
Yeah.
it's not that fancy.
It's not that fancy.
Yeah, it's not fancy at all.
Right. That's okay.
Well, it's not Malibu where you grew up.
Sure. I grew up is that the Downton Abbey of America?
I think to a lot of Americans, the idea of Malibu is that it's a real it's where the fast and loose, rich, swanky elites live.
Yeah, well, that's like part of it for sure, but that's definitely not like the part that I grew up in.
So is there like a tough side of Malibu, like the wrong side of the tracks? I guess the wrong side of the tracks would be the wrong side of the beach, like people who live in the ocean. What I'm saying is sharks are assholes.
Yeah, they are. Actually,
they are.
That was our high school mascot, the Sharks.
Oh, right, okay.
So we had a shirt. I played basketball, and it said Malibu Sharks, together we attack. I don't even know if that's accurate in terms of...
No, it's not accurate about sharks at all.
But it sounded like cool.
It is a little bit.
Do they attack together?
They're kind of like dogs a little bit. It depends on the shark.
Oh, okay.
Look, I'm not a shark expert, but I am on the radio, so I'll just say
you
anything I
hosted
want.
Shark Week. I feel like
I have hosted Shark Week. That's true.
So you could probably say anything about sharks, and I'd believe it.
Well, the thing is about the media right now is you can say anything you want about anything, and a percentage of the people will believe you no matter what you say. For example, if I now reveal myself to be Swedish, there's at least one person out there that's saying, I knew it.
Wow.
I knew
They've been waiting for you to admit it.
I knew he was Swedish.
Wow. Especially if they just turn in at the moment you're like, I'm Swedish.
Yeah,
and I think
if you just turned on.
Yeah.
Is that what you say, turned on?
Yeah, you just turned on.
if your acid is just kicking in.
Oh, do you think this would be a good show to take acid to?
No, I don't think anything's a good thing to take. Look, I'm not an anti-drug campaigner. I'm not your dad. You do what you like. But acid is the one drug that I took. I'm like, oh my God.
I also don't know. I've never done it and don't know much about it, but I don't think anyone's gone, let me get some acid and turn on this radio show.
No.
Right?
Well, you could.
Yeah? Is that like a thing to trip to? I don't think so.
Well, it depends. I don't even know if the acid that's around now is what I was taking. The last time I took an acid trip, I was 20 years old. I'm 54.
Sure.
So that's, 17 years.
Yeah, of different acids.
So, no, I mean, it's a very different thing. People take acid now and they can walk around and talk and stuff. The stuff that I took.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was really, I don't know what it was. You don't know what it is if you buy it from some guy in a bathroom.
But you know what it did to you.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant at all. And for years afterwards, actually, and I mean years afterwards, it would frighten me. I couldn't really talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, years and years. And I took about 30 trips. I think 30 or 40 trips.
Oh, different ones, or is that one occasion?
No. It's
30 times.
30 times. Yeah, I took it once, didn't like it, took it another 30 times to make sure.
Really?
That's what makes me an alcoholic.
Oh, I see.
Is I really hate this, I better just try it again.
But are there ups and downs of those 30, or was it pretty much just they all sucked?
No, some of them it was okay at the beginning, but every single time it was, when will this end? I need this to end. It's awful, awful, terrifying. I'm still awake. I'm scared. I'm never going to come back from this. I'm not entirely sure my life isn't one of these trips. I just didn't come back.
Oh.
And I'm somewhere in a bleak, facility in Scotland, hooked up to IVs.
Oh, the Matrix.
Yes,
Scottish
exactly.
Matrix.
Scottish Matrix, McMatrix.
McMatrix.
McMatrix, hooked up to IVs, and I'm just shaking and stuff, and I'm imagining the whole thing, and you don't exist, and the 40 million listeners to this show.
Sure, they don't exist.
Now I know I'm getting stupid.
Yeah, because they definitely. But I didn't realize you could be so self-aware during those experiences. Because you were like, I hope this will end, so you knew you were having some sort of.
Yeah, you kind of know. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's weird. I don't wish to do it again. That's for sure. So if anyone's calling in saying, "Hey, need any acid?"
Yeah.
Hang up, because I don't want any.
And how would that even work if they called in with acid? You can't.
You can't take it down the phone. There's probably an app for it now.
Oh, you can like Venmo acid.
Venmo? What the hell is that?
Oh, it's how the kids exchange money. If you go out to dinner and you pay for the other person, it's like, oh, Venmo you the $8 for dinner.
What?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, where the hell are you eating at $8 a pop?
Yeah, that's maybe Chipotle, maybe a burrito.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
but not like a fancy dinner.
No, you don't get a knife and fork dinner for $8.
No,
not in LA.
No, but
other places maybe you do.
Yeah, like Kansas and.
No, I don't know Kansas. Yeah, I mean, not in Topeka. Topeka's a big.
Never been to Topeka.
Metropolis.
Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like. You know when you see movies about New York in the 1930s when it goes da 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 da
and flashing lights.
Yeah, that's Topeka.
Wow.
I think. I don't know. Let's see. Who do you want to pick from the? Let's have Peggy Sue in Texas.
Oh,
her name's Peggy Sue.
That's already a good sign.
Yeah, and she's in Texas. Peggy Sue, you there?
Yeah. Hey, Craig, I am.
Hey, Peggy Sue. Hey, you sound a little bit like you might be actually from Texas. Are you from Texas?
I am. I was born and raised in Galveston. Yes, sir.
Galveston.
I sure am.
Nice.
That's the song. Galveston. Do you go swimming? Do you go swimming there in Galveston?
Well, yes, you can. You can. It's not like, Florida. We don't have that really pretty, kind of beautiful white sand, but it's beautiful. We have the beaches are really nice, surfing, all that kind of good stuff. Absolutely.
See, you didn't know that, Joe, did you?
No, I didn't.
Joe's from Malibu.
I didn't know they surfed.
He didn't know there was Texas surf.
Sure.
Wow, that's cool.
We don't have California waves, but we've got waves. It works.
And you can wear hats when you're surfing in Texas. You can wear a cowboy hat.
Wow.
Sure.
Cowboy hat, Speedos. Cowboy hat and Speedos.
That's the official surf wear.
That's the official Texas attire.
Wow, that sounds
absolutely
nice.
If you're going to a black tie dinner in Galveston, cowboy hat, Speedos, perfectly acceptable.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily cowboy hats. You're going to have your baggies and your flip flops. That's
right.
the thing.
What is a baggie? Is that what you carry your drugs in? Your baggie?
No, that was a long time ago. I don't do that anymore either. So
yeah, I'm done with all that. I'm done. Hey, I just noticed the time. We got to go. Look at the time.
I know. And I called Friday, and I didn't get to talk Friday because y'all were talking to you, Lori, which I loved that interview, and the Stephen Fry interview. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. The one thing I have to say, I agree with you about the oysters. Oysters are gross and nasty. They're hideous. But to top it are mussels. Mussels are the nastiest things ever. They're just nasty.
I gotta say I agree with you.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't eat any
I don't
of
do that stuff either.
Well, okay. Listen, we gotta go, Peggy Sue. Call again and we'll have a longer talk.
Well, it's like we have regular callers.
Yeah, Peggy Sue.
Cool.
Call it. It's all coming together. We got 4 seconds. We gotta go. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Stephen Fry. Thanks, you guys. See you later.